I am a Christian, and I am a devout Christian. I believe in the redemptive death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. I believe that that faith gives me a path to be cleansed of sin and have eternal life. But most importantly, I believe in the example that Jesus set by feeding the hungry and healing the sick and always prioritizing the least of these over the powerful. I didn't want to walk alone on this journey. Accepting Jesus Christ in my life has been a powerful guide for my conduct and my values and my ideals. Thus spake Barack Obama when he was running for president in 2008. Obama came in with a lot of hope and change in the air and almost a Jesus-like atmosphere surrounding Obama, because we'd gone through a couple of kind of strange presidencies and people were really offset by George Bush and the war machine that he had built. And there was an expectation that we were going to get this peace and change. In fact, Obama was given the Nobel Peace Prize. Unfortunately, that has not come true. Barack Obama has the biggest war budget since World War II. Both wars in Iraq and Afghanistan accumulated are over $1 trillion, and Congress just approved another just whopping $30 or $40 billion more for the Afghanistan war. Just the cost of the two wars that we've been fighting, the Afghanistan war primarily now, but Iraq as well, the $1 trillion there would have paid for the entire health insurance issue for most adult Americans, including every child in America would have health and care. It would have paid for kids to go to school. It would have helped stop the foreclosure. It would have helped stop the economic collapse that we saw if we would have simply have focused on helping the least of these, which was Jesus Christ, model his message, and more importantly, when we look at Obama, nonviolence. With Barack Obama's professed Christian faith and using Jesus as his model, and he's clearly said that, the question would be, if we look at just Obama's war record alone, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus think? Well, a quick study of the New Testament and early church history, Jesus would have been horrified. Remember, Jesus was the one who said, "Blessed is the peacemaker." When Peter tried to use his sword to even protect Jesus, Jesus told him to put his sword down. Don't protect me. So Jesus preached a very strong message of nonviolence. The early church was anti-war and preached a very strong message of nonviolence. In fact, one of the early giants of the church, a church father, Tertullian, counseled soldiers that were in the army that became Christians to quit the army and even become martyred instead of fighting it. And we all know the stories of the Christians who marched into the arena to be eaten by lions. Instead of resisting and fighting back, they went to their death peacefully, again preaching nonviolence. Even Jesus Christ's death on the cross bespeaks of a great nonviolent act. Jesus could have rebelled. He could have got his followers to rebel, but he told them not to. He willingly went to the cross as a show of nonviolence. And we have to remember what the cross was. The cross was a punishment for people that the Roman Empire wanted to get rid of. And the Christians took the actual symbol of the cross and turned it around and tried to make it a peace symbol. In fact, it's been used as a peace symbol by Christians over the centuries. But we've had many great Christian leaders over the centuries that have stood up for nonviolence. Probably the most prominent in the 20th century and the one that we would most recognize as Martin Luther King. He came out against the Vietnam War. He realized early on that if the military machine took control of a president, and Seymour Hersh, the Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, has basically said that about Obama in a speech in April 2010. He says, the military is dominating Obama now. King saw that the money spent would be spent for warfare, bloodshed, and destruction instead of helping the poor. It's the distinction that King made between guns and butter. He said, if you promote guns and warfare, you will not take care of the needs of people. And here's what Martin Luther King had to say about peace and his anti-war stance. I'll read King's statement. Peace is not merely a distant goal that we seek, but a means by which we arrive at that goal. We will not build a peaceful world by following a negative path. It is not enough to say we must not wage war. It is necessary to love peace and sacrifice for it. We must concentrate not merely on the negative expulsion of war, but the positive affirmation of peace. I would say this: anyone that professes, especially a president, that he's going to follow the teachings of Jesus and make them a model for his life, would dismantle or begin dismantling this war machine, which is wreaking havoc across the world. And it's actually wreaking havoc on this country in terms of how we take care of the poor and our financial condition. But more deeply, we need to look at the founder of Christianity. What would Jesus do? In my opinion, Jesus would, in this day and time, be very staunchly anti-war and seek out and help those who need the help most. And the point is that we're spending trillions and trillions of dollars and billions of dollars on war when we could be helping the poor and the least of those among us.